Come on now. We were going to do this last week. Get it done now, and then we'll move into review and quiz.
Thank you.
Huh? Oh. I didn't realize I was still on. Anyone still going? Okay. Okay, first up. I go to look for the square root of 72 on my perfect square list. 72 is not on my perfect square list. When we did this in the packet, and when we're just introducing this, we'd say, well, it's between here, and then I'd give you a ballpark. Then we learned a better way. If you are able to turn that into the square root of 36 by 2, and say the square root of 36 is 6. That is big brain way. That says, I know my perfect squares, I know my factors, I'm good with mental arithmetic. Not everyone is, not everyone has to be. The other way that we did it was, I don't know what goes into 72, but I know it's even because it ends in a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. So I'd say 2 and 36, and I'd say, well, that's divisible by 2. Well, that's divisible by 2. Well, that's divisible by 3. And you would write it out longhand instead. I'd say the square root of 2 by 2 by 2 by 3 by 3. And what do we do with that? Look for pairs. Got a pair of 2s, 1 comes out. Pair of 3s, 1 comes out. And whichever way you did it, you got a 2 and a 3 on the outside, you got a 6 on the outside. So whether you did it this way or this way, 6 on the outside, still got a 2 on the inside. Okay. The other one, 25 may be on my perfect square list. But do you remember how we found the perfect square of variables? That'd be a whole different ballgame if it said x to the 4th and y to the 6th. Because what do? We just cut them in half. Because something, an exponent times 2 is squaring it. So for these ones, our trick was, it's kind of like when you get your burger, you check it, and it's like, they put onions on it. You just take that onion, you throw it over here, put it back together, and now it's good. Well, for a lot of people. For me, it ain't. I can still taste it on there. Whole thing's ruined. 25 is already a perfect square. If this is not a perfect square, then how about you just pick the onion off? You separate one x from it. Because now there's an even part. How about you take the tomato off? Because now there's an even exponent. And I can take care of those just fine. I'd say the square root of 25 is 5. Square root of x to the 4th is x squared. And the square root of y to the 6th is y to the 3rd. So 5 x squared y to the 3rd on the outside, still xy inside. So I'm going to say outside, inside, outside, inside. And then, do you got the work to back it up? Do you have something written? Because there are several of you that have a calculator that will just do some of the stuff for you. You actually have the work to back it up. So basically a freebie for showing any work. It's still going to be something out of 5. You should now have 4 of those. We've done 4 sections. Maybe even 5. I don't remember if I did an extra one after 1-3. Is there only 4? Okay. I don't remember if I did another one after. Because I thought it was like 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, and then 1-3, like C or something. And now 1-4. Okay. So you should have 5 of those daily quizzes altogether. You've got that graph paper in the back, so you got places to write it. Any of the scratch work that you needed should also be there and labeled. Everything that you need for this entire unit should be in one packet, which is good because today you're turning them in after you're done with your quiz. I go through that and I just put it in one big lump sum. It's going to be something like blank out of 130 or whatever, and it'll just say 1A daily work. That's all it's going to show up on plan book or campus. It's just going to say 1A daily work. That's it. Because I don't want to spend my time shuffling through papers every day. I want to spend my time working with kids. So you just, every 4 or 5 weeks, we're going to finish one of these packets, and you're going to throw it on the counter. I'll go through it and put it in as one big lump grade. Okay? Now, with that, you saw I started putting stuff up here. What? No. Go away. All right. Now, I don't know how many of you actually mess around with plan book at all or even look at it. But plan book's got some different view modes. If you don't know what you're doing in a class, your view can simply be as a, well, if Frank's working or not. Frank? I hate you, Frank.
He told me he hates you too.
Well, you would be the only person to ever hear this inanimate object. Good job. Come on. Poke. Make big. God. Come on. There we go. Okay, view. Yeah, y'all probably know that you can switch between day, week, month. You can have it listed out like this is just what I'm doing today, this week, or the entire month for a particular class. If you go to list, this is going to take a while because Frank's having issues with internet right now. You can choose which class you want to see. You can choose which class you want to see. You can choose what class you want to see. There we go. Okay, so you are Algebra, White Days. Spinning Wheel of Death. There we go. So when you ask me, what did we do? I was gone. Dude, look at the plan book. Okay. Now, I've been kind of slacking on the whole remind thing. But the nice part about it is I can do this high detail thing, and this lists exactly what we've done so far. Okay? Everything that we've done so far is right here. So we did syllabus and 5, practice and workday. Okay. The reason I'm showing you that is because that's exactly what should show up on your sheet. I told you that you were going to fill out the front of this thing. Okay? And it's all listed right there. You should have 1.1 number properties. We took 2 days for multiplying exponents. So 1.2 multiply exponents. So your notes was a day, your assignment was a day, and you only had one daily check. 1.3. We took 2 days for it. 1.3 was divide exponents. It took us 2 days. Well, bummer. Because I told you everything is in one place. It's just this one packet. Okay? Like the meme here, you had one job. Okay? Then we did a quiz. Get back here. There we go. We spent 2 days practicing in class. 1.3C, 1.3D. There are no notes for those, only what I did in class. You know what? Actually, there would be because it's whether you were following along or not. So those are going to be separate. So were you following along? Were you following along? Did you do the stuff? Did you do the independent practice? Did you do the independent practice? We didn't do a daily check for this one, but we did for that one. 1.4. We did the notes together in class. You had time in class to do the assignment. We didn't do the daily checks for them. But right now we are, after 1.4, I suppose we had kind of a goofy day, so we had kind of a CD business. Okay, I did stuff on the front page, you did stuff on the back page, and now we just did a daily quiz. All of this, you shouldn't have anything there. I write there, okay? I fill out what you did. I fill out what your points are, and it's literally just completion. But what you should have is all of this. Okay? Exactly as it is on Plan Book, exactly as it is in our YouTube playlist, you should have that written so that I can fill in the appropriate you did this or not. Okay? Now remember, it is open notes, open resources, open everything for your quizzes. That's why I didn't collect these after we finished them last week. I want you to use this on your quiz today and then turn it in. Said we're doing our quiz today and pretending this is on the midterm. Between tonight and tomorrow, I'm just going to scramble to get all of your guys' stuff graded within a day and a half. Okay? Because I want to have 2 quizzes and all your daily work on the midterm, because I don't think it's fair to just have a quiz of 6 questions as your grade for the midterm, just because we were 1 day off. All right? Please tell me you can follow basic directions and have that on that front page. If you have to staple it back on, then staple it back on. If you completely lost it, then you're going to have to make your own sheet, your own cover sheet for it. But you should all have that. That can go away. Why are you so far off? No, off. Go away. Go away. Here we go. Okay, this one, because there was a lot of practice. Really, it was just 2 sections. But there was a lot of practice on it. That's why normally we're going to have like 6 questions for a review and quiz. This one's got a little more, but they all have just a little bit to them. Okay? 10 questions, you're looking at 3 apiece. It's pretty simple. 3, you got it right, you got the work to back it up. 2, you made 1 little error, but you're in the right ballpark. 1, you made a big error, but at least you're sniffing down the right trail, or you tried something that remotely resembles what we did in class. 0, you didn't even do that. Never, ever, ever put an IDK next to a question here because you're giving up at a minimum 1 point. All right, just try something. So, here we go. Little bit of a view. Do y'all remember what distribution was? What is distribution? I see a whole bunch of you doing like this. Okay. Distribution is that magical combination of multiplication and addition, where that -4 is all hugged up on those parentheses. So that means everybody inside gets that -4. Now I like drawing my little arrows there. You don't have to draw the arrows. But I like drawing my arrows to where the sign meets the number, or the sign meets the variable, because that's what reminds me, that's what reminds me that I'm multiplying a negative by a positive or a negative by a negative. This is a -4 by a +8. This is a -4 by a -5x. Are those like terms? Or are they the same kind of critter? Can I put those together and say -12x? Mm-mm. I can't say apples plus oranges equals mangoes. Doesn't work that way. So it's just done. That's it. When I look at this on your paper, I said it's just 3 simple points. I'm looking for, did you get the right value? Did you get the right value? Do you have the right signs? Okay? Well, hey, what's something on that one that you could write? Remember, you get to tell yourself how to do the test. What could you put on there? What's something that you sometimes screw up about distribution that you could remind yourself, hey, watch out for this? Everybody gets -4. Give what's outside to everyone inside. Maybe watch your signs. You get to tell yourself how to do the problem. Okay? Round 2. We're back to our exponent stuff. Well, y'all remember that we had a little list of how we're going to simplify these? Step 1 is, that's why this is acting goofy. Frank's slightly cross-eyed right now. Hold on. Calibrating. Frank! Thank you. So we never had this problem before. I did that Windows 11 update, or maybe it's not the Windows 11, maybe it's just the update to the firewall, but now this thing is just trash. Step 1, if I have stuff to an exponent, then I better take care of that first. If I got stuff to an exponent, take care of that first. Do I have an exponent touching parentheses? Nah. Step 2 was to put turtles with turtles, giraffes with giraffes, penguins with penguins. Okay? Was to rearrange stuff. Does this have numbers by numbers, m's by m's? Or can I rearrange it? -5 times 3, then m to the 3rd times m to the 8th. Okay? You don't have to do that part. Some of us need that to see what goes together and what property I'm using next. If you need to, do it. If you don't, don't. Step 3 is if I have an exponent to a power times an exponent to a power, I add those. If I have a exponent to a power over exponent to a power, I subtract those. Okay. Remember our list of our 7 properties for exponents? Exponent times exponent. Add the exponents. Downshift. If ever I have a exponent divided by an exponent, subtract the exponents. Downshift. Okay. In this case, I do have that. I'm going to take 3 plus 8. Do I have any negative exponents? Power of Christ compels you. Okay. Step 4 was if I have any negative exponents, I'm going to deal with those. If you were too negative upstairs, you're headed downstairs. If you were too negative downstairs, you're headed upstairs. I don't see any negative exponents, so I don't have to do that. Step 5, If I have any number to a power, turn that into a regular number. Or simplify. Or just simp math. In this case, I can take negative 5 by 3. When we say simplify the numbers, that means if I run across something like 3 to the 4th, don't just leave it as 3 to the 4th, tell me that's 81. Okay? Those 5 steps were kind of a order of operations for exponents. I'm writing them out again because, you know what, it's probably been about 2 weeks since we've seen that written on the board. Maybe we need to see it again. Number 2 was very fast. I don't have to run through all of that stuff. Could I just look at it and think, do I got an exponent on parentheses? Nah. All right. Turtles with turtles. Giraffes with giraffes. What do I do with those? I add them. Done. You don't have to write out all the stuff. This is just the mental process. Okay? Now, I would like something shown, because then it shows me you're thinking. All right. Do I have an exponent on a parenthesis? Nah. Do I have turtles with turtles, giraffes with giraffes? I mean, they're lined up, so yeah. Now, I can choose to say negative 7 minus 4 right now, or I could move the negative exponent. Which do you want to do? Okay. Surprise. So I'm going to turn that into f to the negative 7 minus 4 is f to the negative 11th. Cool. I win, right? And now I see a negative exponent, so it goes downstairs. And it becomes positive. You're too negative! Go downstairs! Now they're happy. Okay. What you want to be careful about with that, let's say I had a 6 here this entire time. Then I'd say 6 times that stuff. Then I'd have 6 times that stuff. I've got some of you who are still trying to throw both of these on the denominator. Who's that negative 11 touching? Just f, so only f goes downstairs. The 6 would stay upstairs. Okay? I just made it up. I'm saying if this happens, because I still got some kids who are trying to throw the whole works down there, even if it's not a negative exponent. What do I do with an exponent to an exponent? Cool. No, you're right. Multiply. What is that, though? Don't just leave it as 10 to the 6th. Which is what? No, not 10 times 6. 10 by 10 by 10 by 10 by 10 by 10. $1 million. Okay, Zeke's got it right. It's going to have 6 zeros on there. Y'all went through physical science. Do you remember scientific notation? Times 10 to the 6th means move the decimal 6 places. Okay. Just don't leave it as just plain number. Okay? Who's getting that 2? Everybody. What's the exponent on the 6? Well, it's going to be a 2. What is the exponent on the 6 right now?
Nothing. Nothing.
5's only touching W. A 1. If there's nothing there, we assume there's a little 1 there. Y'all, I heard like 19 things. Y'all yelling at me like I'm on Price is Right. $1, Bob! The fact that I'm not going to win even a pity prize. Okay. So everybody gets at 2. What do I do with the exponent to an exponent? We just did it on the other one. We multiply. So that's 6 to the 1 times 2 is 2. That's W to the 5 times 2 is 10. That's 7 to the 1 times 2 is 2. That's P to the what?
P to the 12.
12. R to the what? 6. Okay. Do I have turtles with turtles, giraffes with giraffes, penguins with penguins, tuna with tuna? Do I need to rearrange it at all to put the same type of variables next to each other? I don't even have any extras. I don't have a W up here and a W down there to even move around. But I can figure out those numbers. What is 6 squared?
12.
Oh! 36. Remember, that's 6 times itself. What is 7 squared?
Yeah. 49.
And because the P, the W, and the R are all different kinds of critters, it's just done. There's nothing else I can do with it. Well, maybe it's done. Is there a number that goes into 36 and 49? Could I reduce that? If you're not sure, grab a calculator and just type the fraction. Type 36 over 49, hit enter. And it'll tell you if you can reduce it. No, do not just do 36 divided by 49 because it's just going to tell you 0.83 blah 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 blah.
No, it's actually 0.7.
6/7? Oh, I did 5/6. Oops. No, there's nothing that they have in common. It just stays 36/49. Just make sure that if you can reduce that, you do. All right, so we did a bunch of exponent stuff, and then we started doing square roots. Do we all have our perfect square list? Whether that is on that first page of section 1.4 in your packet, whether you were one of the kids who put it on a note card or something. You're a flipper backer? Because both of these are perfect squares. They're special numbers. What's the square root of 169? What's the square root of 289?
Plus minus 17.
Okay, and Robert's already ahead of me there because this had a plus or minus on it. They set the precedent. So I am also going to put a plus minus on mine. Okay. So we learned about perfect squares. We're careful with our signs. Then we started putting variables with them. What was the trick? I do cut it in half because this is effectively 5 by 5, x to the third times x to the third, right? 3 plus 3 is 6. Just like I can take a pair out, I can take a pair out. Well, why would I write it out longhand when I can just say the square root of 25 is 5, the square root of x to the 6 is x to the third. Okay? Now that works if it's an even exponent. If it's not, then you have to pull one off to the side. Then you take the square root of it. Okay? So far these have all been perfect squares. Everything's great. And then it is no longer a perfect square. So you got choices. Option 1, you know what the biggest perfect square is in it. And you just write it as the square root of this times this. If you don't, you can break it down however you want into prime factors. You said, okay, it ends in a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, so I know it's even. I'll divide it by 2. I get 49. Well, that does not end in a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. So I start, try it by 3. Nope. Try it by 5. Nope. Try it by 7. Oh, hey, that works. And I can write out longhand 2, 7, 7. Remember the catch? If there's a pair of factors,
Answer 7 with 2 inside.
they bum rush the guard and one gets out alive. Okay. The other way to say that was 49 by 2 is how I make 98. Because 49 was the biggest perfect square that goes in there, I can just say the square root of 49 is 7. In either instance, I got a 7 on the outside and a 2 on the inside. Do not go to decimal land with these. Yeah, it might be 9.87 blah, 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 blah. I don't want to know that. I want you to simplify it. Just like I don't want to see, I don't know, I don't want to see 0.3 with a line on it. I want to see 1/3. Okay? Don't cut off part of your answer. So we learned to simplify these. What do you think? Okay. So if you don't know the perfect squares that go in there, I think a lot of us were getting the hang of that. Just break it up. We're doing all right with it. So break this up. I heard 15 and 5. Can I break up 15? Can I break up 3? Can I break up 5? 3 by 5 by 5. Do you see a pair? So you circle the pair. They bum rush the guard. One gets out alive. Don't just quit here. Don't leave it like that. Like, write your final answer. 5 root of 3. Okay? Now, if you want to know if you're right, that's where the calculator comes in. We said the square root of 75, so right above the x squared here is my square root of 75, which was 8 point blah, 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 blah. We just said 5 root of 3. 5 root of 3. That means I simplified it correctly because they're both still the same value. Ugly equals ugly. I don't even care what the number is. I just care that ugly equaled ugly. Okay? Now, some of you have a scientific calculator that will just simplify these for you. You got to show me the work to back it up, or I don't believe you. Okay? Show me the work to back it up, or I don't believe you. What do you think? What do you want to do?
So don't you just leave the 2 on the outside and just do the 54?
Yep. So let's deal with 54. It was even. How do I break up 27? Okay. So here's the catch. 2 is already on the outside. Oh, missing one. You circle a pair of 3s. 1 gets out. Quite simple. Whatever is outside of radical land, parties outside of radical land. Whatever's inside of radical land, parties with what's inside radical land. Think about it more like this. Folks that are outside of jail together can multiply. Folks that are inside jail together can multiply. Six root of 6. That's it. Y'all, this is not going to be very long. Okay? But I do ask that we still follow protocols. Your devices to the counter. We got plenty of room in here. I want you to mix yourselves up, move around the room. Don't sit next to anyone you would normally sit next to. No, you cannot just rearrange yourselves at the table you're at anyway. Yeah. Okay, mix yourselves up. Get up, move around. Rochambeau for who has to move. I don't care. If you're anywhere next to someone who has a test, yeah. Hi. What? When do you want to do yours? When are we doing yours? I can do today after school or Friday after school.
I've got other stuff to do after school, so I can do Friday.
Friday? I'll write you down. Hey, this is not happening. Folks got to move.
Can I go back to exponential?
Don't be rude, bud.